What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be doing a video about med spa Google Ads. So it'll be a med spa Google Ads tutorial. I just found basically the first med spa that's located close to me. I did med spa Murrells Inlet SC, and you'll see this one came up. So this will be the example I'm using today. Know nothing about this company. I don't work with this company. No affiliation whatsoever. So basically, I'll just go over how I would approach it if they came to me and said, "Can we set up Google Ads services?" Now, my goal with this video is to kind of give you a high-level overview. So you may watch this and say, he didn't show me how to set up every single conversion. He didn't show me to do all these things. I do have all those lessons on my channel already. So instead of making this like a 2-hour long tutorial, I'm going to try to get through it in about 30 minutes and go through everything you really need to know about setting up your initial campaign and then some best practices as you run your Google Ads campaigns. So the very first thing as we get started is always conversion tracking. So when you're setting up conversion tracking, I would highly recommend using Google Tag Manager to do this. I can show you how I have a few of these tracked in Google Tag Manager. So if we go to our goals and conversion summary page, so you'll see summary here. If you search conversion summary, you'll come right to this page here. You can see all of the different conversion actions that we've set up. Anything that is a primary action is generally something that you're going to be optimizing for within your campaign, unless you have specified certain conversion actions that you want to optimize for. When you are trying to track conversions for something like a med spa or anything related to lead generation, there's usually 4 conversions that I get started with. Sometimes you have 5, 6, or 7, depending on the types of actions people can take on a website. But the 4 main ones that I always get started with is first and foremost calls on the website. Now you want to track desktop calls and you also want to track mobile calls. So with desktop calls, it's anybody on a laptop or desktop device goes on the computer, takes out their phone, and calls this number directly, then you want to make sure you are tracking that back into your Google Ads account. This has to be done with Google Tag Manager, and basically what you're doing is you're looking at the format of the phone number on the website, and Google will use a call forwarding number for Google Ads traffic to track that conversion. So when you actually set up a new conversion action, you'll see one of the options here is phone calls. Now your page might look a little different than this. Google keeps updating how this page looks. Kind of frustrating when you create a lot of tutorials, but basically select the source of the phone calls you'd like to track. So the 3 different ones that we want to set up. Calls from ads will be calls that people place directly from your advertisement. So sometimes you'll see ads here on desktop devices that have a little button that says call now. When you click it, it'll actually show a call forwarding number, probably the same one on your website. If you are on a mobile device, you'll actually see a clickable call button here. So do a quick search, locksmith near me, emergency towing near me, something where people are usually calling, and you'll probably see an example of what's called a call asset. So Google doesn't let you run call only ads anymore. I know they're showing call ads here, but basically you can't set up just call ads in your account. It's automatically going to be using responsive search ads and call assets. Fairly new feature or fairly new update, I guess not feature. The feature's been there for a while. Kind of took away a feature from us, but ultimately it didn't really change campaign performance too much. Calls to a phone number on your website is going to be a desktop call forwarding. So that is when we actually track this number on desktop devices and when people actually call it for a 60-second or longer phone call. Calls from ads also require a specific time behind them. Last but not least is clicks on your number on your mobile website. So I'm on my mobile phone. I search med spa near me. I go click an ad, go to the website, and I end up clicking on this link directly from my mobile phone. That's another conversion that you can track. So this is really where you want to get started. Now, if you're watching this video and you're saying, I don't know how to do a lot of this stuff, I do provide services that I would be able to help you. So I do offer Google Ads monthly management services. If you're like, I just want somebody to take this completely off of my plate, you can hire me for Google Ads monthly management directly through my website, or you can feel free to just contact me directly, figure out, the best way to get started. I also provide consulting, so you could purchase an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of consulting. With 2 and 3 hour packages, I do help set up conversion tracking campaigns. So if you're looking for a little bit of a tune-up or an audit or just some help with conversion tracking and targeting, I can always do those things for you. If you're looking for full-scale management, landing page creation, which will probably give you better results overall, I can do that as well. So if you are interested, that is what I would highly recommend doing. But to get back to the video, those are the 3 conversions you want to set up first. So you can see I have too many conversions in this account because I use it for tutorials. So I've set these up multiple times. You'll see some of the calls from ads. I have phone calls directly from ads here. That is one of the ones where if people call without ever visiting my website, they just click on a mobile click to call ad. The other one is going to be a mobile phone call. So mobile phone call is basically just tracking every time somebody clicks on a URL on your website that contains TEL. And last but not least is going to be desktop phone calls. This looks at the exact format of your phone number on the website so that Google can actually change it and use a call forwarding number. So you would set it up actually as 843 period 750 period and make sure your phone number throughout your website keeps that same exact format, because then Google can actually find the phone number on the website and update it for you so you can track it much better. So those are the three that I always start with. The next one is always just going to be the standard appointment form. You may have a separate contact form. I would personally track both and track them separately. So the contact form, and this might be the same exact form. No, it's different. So want to schedule a visitor consultation, much better form to track. Definitely want to track this one. Contact form is something you can track as well. The one thing with contact forms, these are generally where people go when they're trying to sell a service, potentially a product to you, or when people are looking for a job or employment. So ultimately, the contact form may bring in a little bit of junk if you optimize for it. Make an appointment, definitely a great conversion. So the four that we start with: appointment form, 3 different phone call conversions. Those are the 4 I always start with. The next few that you can do is if they do have, and this is just an arrow down here, if your client has a live chat function and it's something where you can track it and track every time they collect a lead from it. So a lot of live chat are, enter your name and email so we can kind of continue this conversation. Once people take that action, you could track that as a conversion as well because it's a lead that you got. The other 2 that you could potentially do is some people do text messaging. So you can track every time somebody clicks to text. And you can also track every time somebody clicks to email. So if you were to do every single conversion for this business, and let's just say they added a chat form here, they obviously didn't, but let's just say they did, you would have the 4 main conversions to track. Then you could track the contact form as a 5th. You could track email clicks as a 6th. You could track chat as a 7th. So you would have 7 total conversions that you're tracking for. Over time, what you would want to do is analyze your conversions to see what is actually driving quality conversions. Generally, it's going to be the calls and the appointments. So those are usually what I am tracking, but it doesn't hurt to track additional conversions to get started. You could always remove conversions over time. So that's the very first place to get started. From there, you need pages where you're sending traffic to. So these could either be just your standard optimized website pages. So if I want to target something like wrinkle reduction and some of these different treatments here, filler, Botox, threads, microneedling. So some of these different things that people are searching for. Basically, the best practice to me is always create as relevant a landing page as you possibly can so that when somebody is searching for a specific service, maybe it's Botox, they get into a page that is showing Botox treatments. They've set up their website a little bit different here, where when you click on these links, it actually just brings you kind of to all of their treatments. But these treatments aren't really set up to go to a separate page. This is where I would create a new page for each of these different services. So then if I'm targeting dermal fillers near me, dermal fillers Myrtle Beach, dermal fillers Murrells Inlet, let's just say I target those 3 keywords, I know I can send traffic to a relevant dermal fillers landing page. So the more targeted you can get with your landing pages, ultimately the better your campaigns are going to perform. That would probably be my main number because they are running ads. You could see their example of an ad here. I did Med Spa Murrells Inlet. So they do have advertisements running. This just goes, I think, directly to their homepage. It's not actually showing me the URL. Do not want to waste their money because I know I'm not going to be booking. But basically, you always want pages that are optimized for conversions. So they do have on their website, like if you look at the actual service pages, they do have call to actions here to make an appointment. Truthfully, what I like to do is have a button to call and then a button where if they click on make an appointment, it jumps to a form at the bottom of the page. I try not to keep people going to different pages, and I try to use website pages and build them out because then over time, it's going to help with your SEO as well. So if you're targeting things related to dermal fillers, for example, and you create that page, then it's going to help you rank much higher for that keyword. So that is kind of the best practice when it comes to pages you're sending traffic to. You can call these landing pages, but ultimately they're just service pages on your website. If you were to create completely separate landing pages, that's perfectly fine. I've done it before. I do it with certain clients. It's really just a matter of the preference of the client and how much control I have in that specific account. But the more landing pages you create and the more you can optimize them, the better your campaigns are going to perform in the long run. Really making sure that your funnel is as optimized as possible after a Google Ads click for every single click you're driving. This is not an easy thing to do. The better your campaigns are going to perform, the more you're going to get out of your money. So if you spend 50 grand a year on advertising, you'll see a massive difference by having these optimizations in place. And it's why investing in somebody to actually manage your Google Ads or looking at a consultant are different ways that you can make sure that your campaigns kind of stay on track and you're not wasting a lot of budget. So those are kind of the two places we get started: conversion tracking, landing pages. Without them, you really can't build a good campaign. If your landing pages stink, if you don't have optimized landing pages, if you're sending all your traffic to the homepage, you're going to see poor results. And I've done consulting before where basically my whole thing is your landing pages need to be improved. And it's hard to say it sometimes, but it's like you got to build out new landing pages. You got to make sure your call to actions are there. You got to make sure you're tracking every single conversion. From there, we need to do our keyword research. Now, keyword research has gotten a little bit more difficult on the health side using the keyword planner. There are other keyword tools you can use. So answerthepublic.com is a good cheap keyword tool that will give you a lot of keyword ideas. More expensive, some ideas are SEMrush, Ahrefs, SpyFu's kind of in the middle of both of those, Ubersuggest, SE Ranking. There are a ton of keyword tools out there. A lot of them are more geared towards SEO. So the main thing that I would say is when I pull keywords, and I pulled some keywords for this one. You could see I try to pull a lot of keywords for this just to show some examples. But when I'm pulling keywords, basically what I'm looking for is keywords, especially on the lead generation side, keywords that are going to be something like hydrofacial near me, hydrofacial Murrells Inlet, hydrofacial Myrtle Beach. Can't say all these words together, but basically then I can create an ad group about hydrofacial and I can make sure that I am targeting this as relevant as possible. You can do the same thing for skin rejuvenation. So you target skin rejuvenation near me, you send people to a landing page that says skin rejuvenation services in Murrells Inlet, and you'll be driving conversions using that landing page. So a couple other ideas: wrinkle reduction. Did I click on a link? I got to go back to my landing page here. The other one under treatments here. So they have signature solutions basically, and then they also have these treatments. So pretty good overall website, honestly. Skin health, skin tightening, all of these things that you'll see here in these signature solutions are things you could potentially target. Now, reduced jowls and sagging might be a little bit more difficult to target, but like sun damage repair near me, pigmentation repair near me, skin care near me, skin health near me, skin treatments near me. These are all good keywords. The ultimate thing is, how do we structure it in a campaign and how do we make sure we're sending people to the best landing page? That's really one of the main challenges that you're going to see. But ultimately, what we're trying to do now is we're trying to structure this in a way. So I did ad group facials and skin treatments, probably a little bit too broad of an ad group. So you'd really kind of want to narrow these down into their own ad groups to make it much more targeted. But this is probably how you would have to do it with this specific website to get started. And you could always test a couple landing pages against each other. This is very clear that when people come to skin health, the person on the website's getting a facial. A lot of these are related to different types of facials that you can get. Same thing when you're looking at wrinkle reduction. You come here, filler, Botox. So these are kind of the things that somewhat obvious, but basically just to make sure that you are targeting things as relevantly as possible. So what I would do in this case, setting up a campaign and creating our keyword list, is you could actually just use the built-in keyword planner, because within the keyword planner itself, if you target things, let's just say Botox near me, we'll say micro needling near me. These are just different services that they have. We'll say lip filler near me, dermal filler near me. Now we're targeting the United States, and let's just say, for example, we do facial treatments, med spa near me. We'll see what they come up with as far as keywords. But a lot of times when I'm using health keywords, they're not giving me nearly as much. So some of the keywords were removed, won't be used as keywords. We did get 1,400 keyword ideas. What you could do potentially is rank these by bid ranges to kind of get an idea of what people are spending the most on. So Juvederm, best place for Juvederm near me. You could just target Juvederm near me. Lip injections near me. Fillers and injectables near me. Try to avoid the low cost keywords because sometimes it ends up going after people looking for coupons, free, Groupon, 50% off, $100. Like you kind of have people that have set budgets and you're really trying not to go for that as much. Dermal filler treatment near me, micro needling treatment near me. So you get some ideas in here, but you'll see there's probably nothing related to Botox. They removed that. And I think they removed something else. Just forget what everything I put in here. The other thing you could do with the keyword planner is use a website. So we could take their actual website and copy their website, go to the keyword planner, use the entire website to get some ideas. They'll usually give you a lot of keyword ideas with every website, so 937. But by relevance, these really aren't the greatest. And if we just look by bid ranges, a lot of these really aren't the greatest either. So med spa and clinic, not terrible. I mean, that's a good keyword. We could just look up, add a filter and do keyword text contains med spa or keyword text contains facials or micro needling or something along those lines. But for this, you're probably not going to get too much from the keyword planner using their website if this is what it's giving you. So you might be better off entering keywords or again, just using the built-in keyword planner, which I will go through. So let's create our campaign, and we want to create a campaign that drives leads. We want to make sure we are using the correct conversion goals. So for this one, it would actually be contacts and it would be phone call leads. These are both of our leads goals. We want to drive leads. So when you look at your actual conversion goals, you'll see some of them are in different categories. Phone call leads, contacts, usually request quotes. Request quotes, book an appointment. They're all kind of lead actions. Request quotes we're going to remove. It's not the right one for this specific campaign. My lead form is in this contacts. So we'll remove these other ones here, get rid of it, and we will get rid of this one as well. So we have our contacts and our phone call leads, kind of our main 4 conversions that we're optimizing for. There's too many conversion actions in this account. I would clean it up if I was actually running this. So we want to run a search campaign using website visits and phone calls. So what we can do is take their URL. So we'll enter that for website visits, and I'll just put a phone number in for phone calls. Okay, so just a random phone number here, and we'll click on continue. Okay, campaign name. I mean, you can name this, med spa campaign. I guess we'll do med spa example campaign. So we have it, and we'll click on continue and start a new campaign. Bidding. Bidding is very hard in the beginning. I would say if you have an account with data in it, with conversion data, and there's some historic data in there, you've been running ads for the past 3 months, and you have some data within your account and you're launching a new campaign or you're kind of redoing an existing campaign, you could potentially start with conversions. Don't set a target cost per action and just let Google bid for conversions. When I'm using maximize conversions, which is this bidding strategy, or target CPA, which is the bidding strategy if you set a target CPA, generally what I'm using are phrase match keywords. When I first get started with a campaign, there's basically 2 approaches you can take. There's kind of 3 approaches you can take. You can try phrase match keywords with conversions as your bidding strategy. So using maximize conversions here is what this is called. And then using phrase match keywords and just seeing if you're getting any activity to your campaign. If it's a brand new account with no conversion data, sometimes you'll get absolutely no clicks, no impressions using that. Other times it will actually work. It's just kind of one of those dependent on what you're targeting and if you have any data in the account. Now, the other option, if you want to spend, you want to get started, you want to start getting search terms in and optimizing your campaign as quickly as possible, also knowing that you may waste a little bit as you get started, using conversions with broad match keywords, and I mean high intent broad match keywords. I mean using keywords where basically you are targeting keywords like this where there is a clear intent behind it. You're sending people to a landing page where they can make sure they can book this. This can work potentially with broad match keywords, but you will have to keep a very close eye on things, and you are probably going to spend a good amount in the beginning that might end up leading to waste. So maybe start your budget a little bit lower. The way I like to start campaigns is using exact match keywords, targeting clicks, setting a maximum cost per click bid limit. For something like this, you could probably expect bids to be around $10 to $30, depending on where you're located. So in smaller markets where maybe not as much competition, maybe lower like net worth, average yearly income, average household income, usually you'll see lower costs than what you might see in Los Angeles or New York City, where there's tons of med spas, there's a ton of competition. When somebody types in Botox near me, there are probably 30 different advertisers trying to get in on that keyword, depending on the location you're in. So for clicks, you really just have to use what do you expect out of your local market. For Myrtle Beach itself, I would probably be looking at something like $15 to get started. It would really depend on my client's budget. A lower budget, I'd probably start with a lower bid. A higher budget, I'd probably start with a higher bid. So it's one of those things like just understanding how much breathing room you have when it comes to testing. I like using clicks and exact match keywords to start with a maximum cost per click bid limit and setting it slightly higher. Why I like using this is I know if I'm targeting the right keywords, I can start getting relevant clicks immediately. I'd rather spend more for relevant clicks than start with a conversion-based bidding strategy and broad match keywords and waste my first $100, $200, $300 on clicks that are completely irrelevant. Now, broad match can help you kind of get everything on track quicker, but there is going to be more waste along the way. This is kind of the patient approach where not as much waste. We should have some pretty relevant clicks coming to our website, and we just need conversions to come in. So clicks, maximum cost per click bid limit, good. And we can click on next here. Campaign settings, remove search partners, remove the display network. Don't target either of those. I would highly recommend avoiding the search partners network and the Google display network when it comes to search campaigns. Generally just not going to give you the best performance. Location targeting, what we want to do is first and foremost choose presence. Presence or interest would basically start people that are searching for a Myrtle Beach vacation and then search for a med spa in Charlotte, in Raleigh, in Virginia, wherever they might be located. So we want to use presence, and then we want to enter our location. And generally what I'll do is set like a radius around the office. We can also just say, let's just target Murrells Inlet and let's target Myrtle Beach. I know we want to target those two cities. There are some surrounding cities around us that we could target. So Surfside PPC. There's Pawleys Island over here, Surfside Beach, Garden City, Socastee you could target. So even like North Litchfield here, this whole area would be pretty good to target. What you could do instead of adding every individual city is just take the radius targeting, find their address. We will copy their address and we will paste it here. And it's probably about a 15-mile radius. So if we include that, so we have a nice radius around the office that should, for the most part, target a lot of relevant people. Most people aren't, and if you don't know the area, obviously you wouldn't know this, most people aren't driving from Carolina Forest to Murrells Inlet for a med spa appointment. So we don't want to go too far out of this, where people are actually willing to go. But within 15 miles is pretty good overall. So we'll save that. Presence as our location. So language targeting, select the languages your customers speak. I try to separate campaigns by language. So if you're creating a Spanish campaign, completely separate campaign and use landing pages that would also make sure that reflect whatever language that you're targeting. Audience segments not relevant for health. So there are a lot of limitations when it comes to audience targeting and health, obviously. So just kind of one of those privacy issues and just overall sensitive information that Google doesn't store all that about audiences. They probably do, but we can't target it. Broad match keywords, automatically created assets off and off, more settings. So ad schedule is the only thing that I really adjust too much down here. You could potentially set an ad schedule if you only want to remain open during business hours, if maybe you want to avoid Sundays. If you have a form on your website and you have a voicemail, I generally just recommend running 24 hours, at least Monday through Friday, maybe Monday through Saturday. Worst case scenario is somebody calls at 8 p.m., they get a voicemail, they leave a message, and then you can call them back in the morning. Or you could always say, hey, we have a missed call from this number at 9 p.m. Let's give them a call back and see what they wanted. So this is pretty much campaign settings. Next is going to be our keyword and asset generation. So we can enter our URL here, service that we want to advertise, and then we have ad assets here. We are going to skip this. And now we are in our ad groups here. We want to create an ad group. So the first ad group that we're going to create is going to be facials and skin treatments. So we will copy this, create our ad group. Now you can enter your landing page here. And then we could also do things like skin health, facials near me. If we have hydrofacial, med spa facial near me. And let's see if there's anything else on this page we could do. Yeah, that should be good for now. So you could also do like skin treatments, facial treatment near me. But ultimately what we're doing is we're just trying to find some keyword suggestions to get started with and some good keywords. One thing to keep in mind is something like skin health, not a great keyword because it's just broad in intent. Facials near me, very good keyword. It's showing somebody is looking for a facial. They need a provider to give them a facial. So that's kind of where we get started. We can use that keyword. The rest of these are not great, so we'll get rid of all of these. It might just be something because I did skin health. So let's try this again. We'll remove skin health and we'll get keyword suggestions. Okay, these should be better. Okay, these are a lot better. Okay, so hydrofacial, facial spa. Okay, so those should be good enough to target. Okay. Now we could also pull from this list here. So what I would generally do is find the near me keywords I want to target and then take all of these, copy them, paste them, and then let's give ourselves a space so we know where it stops. Paste them, and then basically we're just going to update all of these to Myrtle Beach. You could do this much quicker using Google Ads Editor, but for right now we will just stick in the platform. But this is basically how you can do this a little bit quicker. We're going to get rid of some of these. Okay, we have our initial list of keywords. If you notice anything here, what generally performs best is service plus near me or service plus location type of keywords. So it could be any service, any location. It could be plumber in Boston. Service plus location or service plus near me will always give you the best results. So that is pretty much keywords. Now I want these to be exact match to get started. So you can see down here at the bottom, we have to put brackets around them. So I'll put brackets around these and fast forward. Okay, we have all of our keywords here now. Now it's time for our ads. So first thing is going to be our final URL, our landing page. So we're going to take this as our landing page and we will send traffic here. Display path, you like to use something that is going to be related to the landing page or the keywords that they're targeting. So we're going to say skin treatment. We could also do like face treatment since it seems like it's more geared towards face, but that's perfectly fine. Next is going to be calls. So we want to add our call asset. This will make sure that we have calls added to the ads and then calls when people are on desktop devices as well. So we'll get a lot of calls from our ads if we add a campaign level call asset. So we have this here. I don't know. It says in the right number. It's just the number I have in the account, but obviously make sure you have the right number for your business. Coming down here, we need to set our headlines, our description lines, and our assets. So best practices for headlines to me is creating 3, 4, or 5 headlines that are going to be geared towards your keywords you're targeting. So best facial Myrtle Beach, facial today Myrtle Beach, best places to get a facial, top rated facial provider, top rated med spa facials, something along those lines. I use Claude a lot when I'm trying to come up with ad copy. I have a project in here called Google Ads Ad Copy. I have a prompt basically saying, create me a bunch of Google Ads ad copy and I copy all of the content on this page, use all of that to basically come up with our ad copy. So our headlines, our description lines, long headlines, basically anything you need for Performance Max or for search. Don't know why these keep going on one line without any breaks, but that is perfectly fine. All right, so we can start. These are kind of ridiculous. So we have some headlines, 15 to 25 characters, description lines, and more description lines. Okay, so let's take some of these here and we will pick a few of them out. Okay, so we got some headlines here. What I try to do is first headline, pin these to the first position, and I try to make sure that they are geared towards whatever it is that we are targeting. So if I take some of these keywords here, trying to make sure I get those in my first headline. You could also incorporate things like location. So if somebody's located in Myrtle Beach, for example, it will show number 1 facial Myrtle Beach. Now, the other thing you can do is keyword insertion. So you could say, and we could actually just use best facial treatment, keyword insertion with sentence case and then some default text. And basically what it's going to do is whatever keyword they are targeting matches to our keyword, it will take the keyword. So let's just say facial spa Myrtle Beach. If somebody's typing in something similar to that, it will take that keyword and put it in our headline. Definitely good for quality scores, making sure that you are getting good quality service out of your campaigns. So I did a countdown back, so we'll get rid of that. Put this. Okay, so first headline, we can pin all these to the first position. Second headline, going to be looking at more of a call to action. Call today, book an appointment. So find 5 call to actions that make sense. Calls today, book your appointment. So things where what is the next step you want your customer to take? I would do 4 or 5 of those. So as long as they are all relevant, then you could just keep adding them. Next is going to be our third headline, which is going to be much more along the lines of like a selling point, things like that. So we're going to do Brava Health and Med Spa. We could do Murrells Inlet SC for the location. Maybe do Protect Your Skin. So make an appointment will be number 2. And then right here for number 3, we'll pin all of these in the third position as well. Okay, so we have our headlines. I would recommend using all 15. It doesn't hurt to create more headlines. Next is going to be description lines. The main thing that I do is I create one description line that's kind of just quick little sentences. So it could be top rated med spa. Okay, so we can go top rated med spa. We can go best facial provider, Murrells Inlet, call today to book an appointment. Okay, it's perfect. So basically just quick little selling points. Sometimes you can do things like 5-star rated, same day appointments, number 1 doctor, best estheticians in Murrells Inlet, whatever it might be. So basically you could try all of these different options, but what I do a lot of times is I have my Claude project here where this is how I get a lot of my ad copy, especially for longer versions like the description lines. So you can see experience advanced skincare technology that delivers visible results from the first session. Why I like using this is because it'll take content directly from their page. So I'm matching their copy with my ad copy. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. So we will copy and paste these. Say delivers results from the first session. So sometimes they make them a little bit long. I probably need to update my prompt because it seems like they've been a little bit longer recently. Okay, this is fine. And we will... Okay, so these are good. We have 4 description lines. No real one size fits all with the description lines. I do like doing this. I do like capitalizing the first letter. If they write it and it's not the end of the world, but just trying to make sure that we have good descriptions, good headlines targeted towards what we're actually targeting. So images, you always want to add images. And what I recommend doing is using images from your business profile or any type of real images that you have of your business. The more targeted you can get, the better. So upload all of those images here, use as many as you have inside the office, inside the actual patient offices, any pictures of doctors, any pictures of award ceremonies, anything like that are always make for good images. Once you verify your account, you'll be able to add your business name, and you should always add your business logo. So you want to add an approved name for your business name so that it actually shows on your advertisement. None of these companies have it. So WaccamaMedSpa.com, it should just say Waccamaw Med Spa up here. This should just say Brava Med Spa up here. This should just say Dunes Med Spa up here. And then we have Brava Med Spa down here as an SEO result. So they should be there with logos. Only one with a logo is Waccamaw Med Spa, but I would assume all 3 of these don't have the option for a business name, or their account just hasn't been updated with the business name. And it definitely makes a difference having this as a verified and having it in your ad business logo as well. Site links, my main thing with site links, and you'll see some examples here, always do site links that are going to lead to a conversion. Special services, contact us, very good ideas, especially for something broad like this. About us, I think is perfectly fine. Promotions, specials, individual service pages, locations that you're serving, depending on where you're targeting. All of those things will help with conversions. I just got to close this keyword window. I keep going to it, but add your site links, add description lines, add at least 4 site links. It will not hurt to add some site links and some relevant site links to your campaign. Next up is going to be more asset types. Promotions, prices, messages, not things I use very often. Promotion you could potentially use if you have some type of promotion that you're running. Maybe there's a seasonal sale. Maybe it is just some type of ongoing sale that you're always running for new clients. Whatever it might be, you can add promotions there. Pricing, if you have like fixed prices, that's another option there too. Messages will integrate with WhatsApp. So if you do use WhatsApp, you can actually use messaging. I don't really use this one that often. And I found the ones that I have used, it doesn't always lead to the best conversion quality. Structured snippets. So you can put things like the different services that you offer, types. There's different options within structured snippets. For the most part for a business, going to be service types. Lead form, I would recommend not using lead forms for this. It's just you might get leads. Sometimes they're low quality and they just don't end up becoming customers. It's just you're getting a lead, nice conversion in the account, does not lead to anything in terms of revenue. Callouts are just ways to add selling points, add services, add anything that is going to enhance your advertising to make somebody want to click it and go with you. Apps, not something you need to do. So we have that one built. Okay, so let's say we just click on save here. Okay, and now we have our first ad group ready, facials and skin treatments. Let's create another ad group. So what you'd want to do is separate your services into different ad groups. So instead of doing this one, let us come down to the bottom a little bit and I will do the skin lesion removal. So we'll use this one here. We could basically just use these keywords, remove lesions, remove moles, remove skin tags, but let's create a new ad group. We can take our URL, copy this here and paste, remove lesions, remove skin tags, remove moles. Okay, so we will get our keyword suggestions. Remove moles. As somebody who has moles in their front yard or backyard right now, make sure you're not actually targeting mole removal related to moles in the grass or moles in the ground. So you always want to make sure you're checking on that when you look at your keyword results. I would assume most people don't search remove moles. Like it'd probably be a mole replacement or mole repellent, like those types of keywords. But somebody who had a little mole army in his backyard this spring had to get rid of all of them. Just know that there are people that search things like that. So you always want to make sure that it's like moles on skin. If you are searching mole removal, try to do things like skin moles removal. So we have a few keywords here. Again, the main things as far as keywords, you'll see much better results with the near me type of keywords. You could probably just start with these three, moles, skin tag, and lesion. Copy and enter these ones here. These are all pretty good keywords as well. You could also enter those here to give you some more ideas, but you could start with this, go to Murrells Inlet, and then do the same thing for Myrtle Beach. So honestly, sometimes this is like the easiest way to set things up. So now we have, and let's get our Myrtle Beach keywords so we can finish this out. Myrtle Beach. Okay, we have our keywords. Let's put our brackets around them. Now you don't need to do the brackets. You could switch them to exact match later, but doing brackets or quotes will make sure you're using phrase, exact match. Would honestly recommend not using broad match initially, but I've seen it work at times. It's just one of those, I see better results from phrase match keywords. Okay, we have our keywords here, and now we need to create our ad. So first things first, let's make sure that we are sending people to the right landing page. So we have a really good landing page for these keywords. This is actually a very good example. This landing page would perform very well with these specific keywords. So we have everything set up. We just need to update some of our ad copy. This is where copy all this, go to our Claude project. You can do this in ChatGPT too. I've done it in ChatGPT. I use this a lot. And what we want to do is create our headlines. So clear skin solutions here, remove skin tags today. That's perfect. We'll do a few of them. This is actually where doing more keyword insertion can be a good idea because let's see if I did that right. Yeah, doing keyword insertion can be oh my goodness, can be a good idea. I think it added it twice. All right, we just need to, there we go. Okay, so remove skin tags today. Using keyword insertion could work a little bit better like this. I wish they just didn't pop this up. Do keyword like this so it increases or it uppercases the first letter in every word. So it's considered sentence case. But then what we want to do, or title case, I'm sorry, I have this wrong. Title case is what we want to use. Okay, so we have our headline here. Let's find a few more headlines. So we will do expert mole removal, flawless skin awaits, advanced lesion removal. Don't love their ad copy. Sometimes it's not bad to have like the variation just to see it. But same thing I would do here, 5 headlines that would kind of be geared towards the keywords that we're targeting. So lesion removal, skin tag removal. You could probably fit lesion, skin tags, and mole removal potentially. So trying to get as many of those as possible into your headline would be perfectly fine. Next will be our description lines. Again, quick, short blurb descriptions. I'm kind of trying to go through this a little bit quicker, so that's why we're just kind of going through some of this. Remove lesions, moles, and skin tags. Call now. 5-star rated. Located in Murrells Inlet. Okay, so we have some descriptions. I would definitely try to improve these images. We should already have some images at the campaign level, so make sure you have good images there. Business name, business logo, all of our site links. Make sure we create our asset types here, and then what we can do is click on save. We have 2 ad groups here. We want to rename this ad group, and we'll just rename it later. Make sure you name your ad groups just so you know what they're working, how they work. You would repeat this process for the other 2 ad groups as well, but right now we're ready to click on next and move on to the next step. Set our average daily budget. So they're recommending a $75 average daily budget based on our bidding, our targeting, our keywords, and our ads. So just some of the information they have about our campaign. They're saying $75. Sometimes I use these to tell the client, hey, Google's recommending this. So you could potentially use this as your budget. Set it higher if you want to spend more. Set it lower if you want to use kind of a test budget. 75 is a pretty good starting point for a budget, so it's actually not too bad to start there. Ad groups, errors with our keywords. What they're probably going to make me do is request an exemption. If you see this, perfectly fine. Request the exemption. We will scroll to the bottom and we will save this and click on next, next. All right, our campaign is ready to publish. They're saying bid more efficiently with maximized conversions. You could test maximized conversions. It probably won't work with exact match keywords, but if you want to get started with maximized conversions, you can try phrase match keywords, and then you can always see if maximized conversions will actually give you any traction. Set up a Google tag. We don't need to do this because I'm not actually working with this client. We'll click on back, next. Oh, they're actually making me do this. Okay, text connection. I don't mind that they do this. It's just there should be an option to just skip it. Like, why is there not an option just to skip it? Continue to my account. Yes, I will set it up later. Okay, so we have our campaign. I always lower this budget to $1. We want to make sure we're not overspending here on a campaign I don't want to spend on. Okay, so we have our settings here. Maximize clicks, $15 maximum CPC bid limit is what we have set. Could also, if you really want to get targeted, you could say, I want to use a clicks bidding strategy, not set a maximum cost per click bid limit. And basically what you can do is, or you select it directly and do manual CPC, and you can set your bids manually. What I like to use is maximize conversions, target CPA, but it does require conversion data. So in order to get that conversion data, maximize clicks, we will set our bid limit at $15. It's perfectly fine to get started. And we will save this. Okay, so we have that set up. Next thing would be building out some additional ad groups. So we have our facials and skin treatments. We have our skin tags, lesions, moles ad group. Then you can add basically any ad group for anything that you're targeting. Microneedling, Botox. You may run into some issues as far as health with prescriptions, with product names. There are certain certifications that you might need to actually advertise certain services. So if you do run into any of those issues and you really can't figure it out, first, you could always contact me. Second, you could always reach out to Google and try to figure it out. Third, they'll usually send you an email about, hey, here's what the issue is. If you see the request exemption like I just showed you, that's perfectly fine. Request the exemption, should not be an issue. So if we're targeting these, basically the way that I run this is we are going to, and some of these that say low search volume are probably things we can't target, but the rest of these are fine. What I generally, and you can even click on the plus sign here if you're looking for additional keywords. So laser skin tag removal near me, tag removal near me, removal of skin tags near me. So you have a few different options there that we can add. Skin tag clinic. So depending on the level of what you do for skin tags, you can add any of these keywords that would make sense for you. And what I generally do is let this run for 2 to 4 weeks. We're kind of trying to get clicks. We're trying to get some conversion data coming in. Make sure at your campaign settings that when you go to your marketing objective, you do have leads as the marketing objective. And then you also want to make sure that your conversion goals, that you're optimizing for the right conversion goals. For us, phone call leads and contacts probably have a little too many conversions in here, but really you just want to make sure you have those 4 conversions at the campaign level so that you're actually optimizing for them. From there, get your data in. Over time, what I like to do all at the same time is kind of switch to more phrase match keywords, maybe all phrase match keywords, but definitely take my top performing keywords, make them into phrase match keywords. And then from there at the campaign level, switching over to the maximize conversions bidding strategy. Eventually, what's going to happen as you start getting conversions and data in your account is Google is going to give you a notification or a recommendation saying something along the lines of you can improve your results with a smart bidding strategy. I would recommend using those. Don't use target impression share, but maximize conversions and target CPA are both really good bidding strategies that will give you the best results long term. They just require that initial conversion data. So right now we're in the process of data gathering. Once we get out of data gathering, we can really start optimizing and making sure that we're driving consistent conversions every day for the services that we're targeting. This is pretty much everything. There's obviously a lot of things in between that I didn't cover. If you have questions, please reach out. Please leave a comment. So anything like that. But basically we have a nice little example campaign here, and to continue building this out, pretty much just keep adding more and more services to this. You could separate out things into different campaigns. I usually kind of start separating things into their own campaigns as I get more conversion data in the account. So my initial goal is let's target all these keywords in a campaign. We'll set our max CPC bid limit, control costs for a little bit initially, and then over time you can kind of say, let's go after these more expensive keywords. So if you're like a dentist, for example, start getting conversions first for dentists near me. And once you get a lot of conversions for people looking for dentist, that's when you start going, okay, let's start targeting dental implants and some of these other keywords as well. But if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comment section. If you need help with any of this, contact me. But thank you for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.